Hello everybody, I am Aliyah Толеубаева from Karakalpak State University, the Faculty of Foreign Languages, and today we are going to speak about the methods of language teaching. And today's our first method is going to be grammar translation method. So what is grammar translation method? How we can describe this method? It requires students to translate whole texts word by word and memorize numerous grammatical rules and exceptions as well as enormous vocabulary lists. Today we are going to speak about the background of this method, objectives, characteristics, typical techniques, and advantages and disadvantages of this method. Now let's begin with the historical background of this method. So this method is the first classical method, which was used to teach classical languages such as Latin and Greek. And in the 19th century, it began to be used to teach modern languages such as French, German, and English, and it is still used in some countries today. Earlier in 20th century, the method was used for the purpose of helping students to read and appreciate foreign language literature. Personal understanding of this point is, for example, grammatical rules, vocabulary and translation, oral lesson, grammatical rules, vocabulary and translation. Objectives of this method are read and appreciate literature written in the target language. Push the learners to learn the grammar rules and vocabulary of the target language. So, for example, what does it mean target language? Here, for example, a target language is English, while our native language is Karakalpak. Target language, it means learned language. Characteristics of this method. Grammar translation is a way of studying a language that approaches the language first through detailed analysis of its grammar rules, followed by application of this knowledge to the task of translating sentences and texts into and out of the target language. It means that while explaining grammar rules, teacher can use mother tongue in discussing some points and give literary passages in the target language and translate it into the mother tongue. Literary language is considered superior to spoken language. Reading and writing are the major focus. Vocabulary and the grammar are emphasized mostly. Much of the lesson is devoted to translating sentences into and out of the target language, and the focus is the sentence. That is a distinctive feature of this method. Now let's look through the typical techniques of this method. The first one is translation. Students translate literary passages from the target language into their native language. The next one is reading comprehension questions. Here, for example, students can ask some kind of questions in order to check students' understanding or their comprehension. By asking students comprehension checking questions, teacher can develop students' critical thinking and creative thinking as well. The next one is antonyms and synonyms. Students are given one set of words and are asked to find antonyms in the reading passage, as well as synonyms for a particular set of words. For this case, students should know what is antonym and what is synonym. For example, antonyms are the words with opposite meaning, such as dark and light, and synonyms are the words with the same meaning in the same language. For example, little or small. The next one is deductive application of rules. Students understand the rule and apply it to examples. For example, if the topic of the lesson is present continuous tense, the students should firstly understand this rule and then apply it to examples. The next one is Fill in the blanks. Students are given a series of sentences with missing words. For example, again, if the topic of the lesson is present continuous tense, the sentence is I am TV now. So in this case, students should put here appropriate words. For example, watching. I am watching TV now. So the next technique is memorization. Students are asked to memorize new word lists, grammatical rules, and verb conjugations. So it means learning things by heart. Memorize them. Memorizing new words not only in the target language but also in their native language. The next one is composition. Students are given a task to write in the target language by using learned grammar rules. For example, they should write composition by using, again, if the topic of your lesson is present continuous tense, they should write the composition by using new words and the given grammar rules. Use words in the sentences. Students are given a task using new words in some sentences to increase students' vocabulary or to enhance students' vocabulary and to know students' understanding. So what about advantages and disadvantages of this method? Actually, the first advantage or beneficial side of this method, I think translation. Translation is the easiest way of explaining meaning of words and phrases from one language to another. Students are more familiar with both languages by using translation. And teachers can discuss some tasks by using mother tongue, students' native language. Disadvantages. And also disadvantages of this method. The first disadvantage of this method is translation. Exact translation is not possible. Translation is indeed a difficult task, and the exact translation from one language into another is not always possible. For example, the English word table in Karakalpak, equivalent of this word is khantakta. For example, table of contents, we can't say it, for example, we can't explain it, we can't give the exact translation of this phrase. For example, table of contents, it means in Karakalpak, faydalanılan adabiyatlar. The next disadvantage is the lesson is teacher-centered. Students are passive. There is no interaction between students. Teacher is the authority of the lesson, of the classroom. And the next disadvantage is this method lays emphasis on reading and writing, and communication is neglected for the reason that grammar is the principal skill in language learning and teaching. So in this video, in today's our video, we covered the grammar translation method. Now let's reflect what we have learned. For example, the first question for you, how can the students benefit from the grammar translation method? And the next one is, should we use it in our classrooms? If yes, why? Or if no, why not? You can answer these questions, and for example, for further research, you may use these references. So I hope that it will be useful for you. Goodbye.